I am really excited today because we are going to get the opportunity to talk to a college coach who is an alum of the program that he coaches. I've been watching the University of Evansville for many years, primarily because my son, when he was at Vanderbilt, they would have a midweek game in Evansville. He had a friend that was pitching at Evansville. And I've been a big fan of Wes Carroll for a long time because I really feel as if he truly represents what college baseball and the experience within college athletics should be all about. But first and foremost, Wes, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate you having me on. What a great opportunity this is, and I just appreciate everything that you do for our sport and college baseball. So, yeah, I'm excited to share kind of what our vision is here at the University of Evansville and talk a little baseball with you.
Well, the first thing I want everyone to know is that you are an alum and you are a former student athlete at the University of Evansville. And I would love for you to share what makes Evansville such a great college environment, the campus, the athletics, et cetera. You know, I know you bleed purple, but I'd love for you to share that with parents and student athletes.
Yeah, it's a very unique place, but most importantly, no matter where you go, it's about the people. And I feel like the people here at the University of Evansville are very supportive and just for the overall student-athlete experience. It's a very small campus. We have roughly 2,000 students, high academic standards. Usually when you have these types of academic standards and this type of education, it's kind of matched up with Division III athletics. And we're very fortunate to have it match up with big boy D1 baseball in the Missouri Valley Conference. It's just a really unique, small classroom size, some personal one-on-one attention that you receive from professors, from academic advisors, from our sports academic advisor, and then just we have a small roster size, so you really get to connect with your coaches and get in the trenches, develop relationships, and then work on your overall craft of the game. So it's a great combination. It's got to be the right fit for individuals to come in and really just focus on their academics, and then baseball is a big part of their overall development. So University of Evansville is a wonderful university that is led by President Petruskevich, that has done an unbelievable job throughout his tenure. And then what we've had from an athletic director and the support that we've had is really unique right now. And that's what you got to kind of have in order to have success, is great leaders and good positions that are supportive. And we currently have that here at UE.
You know, one of the bigger names within your conference, which is the Missouri Valley Conference, particularly over the last couple of years, has been Indiana State. For me, that's Larry Bird, will always be Larry Bird. But there are several really strong baseball programs within the Missouri Valley Conference. Can you talk a little bit about the conference as a whole and the week in and week out environment as far as all of the teams that you get to play against? That schedule is a very strong in conference, and your schedule out of conference is strong as well. But talk about the Missouri Valley Conference.
Yeah, I'm a Valley guy, playing in it and just being a part of it for 18 years as a coach in that capacity. It's very competitive, top to bottom. I feel like it is one of the best, if not the best, mid-major conference in the country. Top to bottom is extremely competitive. Each and every weekend is going to be a grind. You cannot take any weekends off. And what we've seen over the past 5 years is really facility enhancements throughout the entire conference, and the ballparks that we play in, the competitiveness that we're going up against is a reason why we've taken steps as a conference. And you know, we've lost some, we've shuffled some around. That's what's happening in college sports. But the additions that we brought in at Belmont, Murray, and UIC have been so darn competitive that have elevated our conference. And for us to kind of be in this position, having back-to-back super regional teams make it with us and Indiana State really shows the strength of our conference. Another thing about us is that we're not scared to play anybody anywhere at any time. If you look at the schedules, top to bottom in our conference is extremely competitive, going on the road and playing against not just Power Fives, but high-level mid-majors. And that's the reason why I think we have the RPI that we have and the strength that we have within our program or within our conference.
You know, I would love for you to kind of allow student athletes to understand what is, when your coaching staff is out looking at prospective student athletes, what are some of the attributes that you're looking at as far as your initial evaluations are concerned to see if that particular student athlete might be a good fit, you know, for Evansville?
Obviously, talent, no doubt about it. There has to be talent there, a foundation to be able to compete in this conference. But there's so much more into it when it comes to recruiting prospective student athletes here to UE. It's about their personality, about their makeup. Because the biggest thing that we try to do here is the toughest thing that we try to do here is to get our guys, our incoming guys, bought into something bigger than themselves, being selfless. And I think it's really challenging in this day and age of kids growing up, being the focus of attention, especially in the recruiting and everything. It's really identifying the type of personality that can just dive into a culture and dive into something bigger than themselves. So it's the little things that we look for. We're always looking to see how they are interacting with their teammates, how they are with their parents, watching them interact with their coaches, and then going to work, talking to the coaches, talking to the people around them to really get a feel and identify what kind of personality they have, if they're going to be the right fit. Because you're going to come in and you're going to tell really easy, really quickly, if you're going to be able to have longevity and stay here and be a part of what we're creating. It's all culture based is what we are all about. I love left-handed hitters. And so that is another big thing. If you can get left, be left-handed in the batter's box, be left-handed on the mound. That is something that I think all college coaches are kind of looking for. But the personality piece is really, really important. And then we, talking about our vision and our belief here is that the backbone of our program is built off 4-year high school players. And I think with the portal the way it is, we are not portal heavy from a standpoint of year in, year out, bringing in a lot of portal guys. And we've also been fortunate enough to build a culture here that we're not flooding the portal either with guys exiting and leaving. And so it's a real unique place that we've been able to create here with buy-in from our players, our coaches, our athletic department, and university to really have a great overall student athlete experience. So that's kind of a snapshot of what we're all about. The portal, the way it is right now, it's amazing how many high talented quality high school players are still available that can kind of fit into the mid-major bold that we've created here.
Well, I think it's enlightening and really refreshing to hear you speak so glowingly about the high school athlete. A lot of parents feel as if they're kind of the forgotten piece to the whole puzzle with regard to building a program. Want to remind parents and student athletes, go ahead and make sure that you download brand new and improved the Baseball Blue Book app. Everything you need to know about the University of Evansville ACES program is going to be located in the app. It's going to give you all of their schedules, all of their contact, their social media, etc. It's a great place and resource for you to learn about a program such as Evansville, as well as meet the coaching staff and Coach Carroll. What I would love for you to discuss as far as college baseball as a whole is what it takes for a high school athlete when their feet hit campus. What would you tell that 2026, 2027 athlete? What should they be preparing for to be able to not only be recruited by Evansville, but to be able to be prepared to compete and participate as a student athlete?
That's a great question. I have a 16-year-old son right now, and daily I am in his ear as far as whenever you commit, sign on the dotted line, a national letter of intent, or decide the place that you're going, you have to start preparing yourself for that journey in the first fall as far as being ready to compete against some grown-ass men. and in order to do that, the weight room needs to be a big part of your development and working on your craft daily. Getting a regiment, getting a routine down where you're working on yourself. Because if you take time off, if you're dissatisfied with signing and with committing to a place, you will not be ready whenever you step foot on campus as a freshman, and you'll kind of have to play a lot of catch up, right? So you got to get your body and your mind prepared before you step foot on campus. I know this was the last year of COVID, but what you see is a lot of age and older guys playing in pivotal roles on each and every roster. And I think that's just a big part of development. But coming in as a freshman, we play freshmen here. We do not look to redshirt in any way, shape, or form. That is not our goal. We want you to get a 4-year education and get on with your life and have a great overall student athlete experience. But in order to do that, you need to be prepared physically and mentally whenever you step foot on campus. So you can tell the guys year in, year out, the ones that, prepare from the time they sign the NLI or commit, to the guys that just kind of coast and are happy to, play at the Division I level. And those guys usually have to play a lot of catch up.
Well, I know recently there's been some changes within, college baseball. There are some pending changes looming. Is there any changes that you foresee that you can share with parents that may affect the high school athlete? Things such as, are they going to change the playing season, to help some of the colder weather climate teams? Are they going to allow, for additional games in the fall to count towards your total? Things that may be affecting the game or changing the game going forward. Is there anything that you've heard or you would like to see that would help better college baseball as a whole?
Yeah, I do believe there's going to be a lot of changes coming, but we've been hearing about these for the past decade, so to speak. As far as additional games in the fall would be outstanding, as you get a real feel for the spring, especially with all your newcomers, understanding what the day kind of feels like and looks like whenever you get where we're located. We're very fortunate that weather is not an enormous issue. We're able to start, maybe opening weekend, but the second weekend of the year, we are able to, open up at home. However, I think it's an absolute no-brainer for the start of the season to be pushed back a couple weeks. The fans that we get and the crowds that we're able to create in April and May is something that I think, with college baseball being such a growing sport and the support that you can get in the community, I think it's a no-brainer. However, I don't know what direction they're going to go in or if that's going to get done. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of changes coming with, how scholarships work. I think more and more of the portal, where we're getting a feel of, just how it's affecting overall recruiting. Is it good? I don't know. What I do know is that college baseball is in a really good place right now. We had great ratings and viewing of all the NCAA tournament and the College World Series. So I think it's in a good place, going in the right direction.
My takeaway from over the last 2 years, at least, is that college baseball is the March Madness dynamic to the baseball baseball has kind of overtaken that. I think it's because more young athletes and parents relate to baseball a little bit. And the other part of it is there is a David and Goliath component to, the NCAA baseball tournament, as far as being able to see Evansville versus the eventual College World Series champion. I would love for you to talk if Coach Carroll could wave a wand and implement a change for the betterment of college baseball. What would that be? What would that look like? What would you like to see moving forward to help grow the game at the college level?
Definitely moving the season back, I think, would be great. But I just believe we have to figure out the whole recruiting piece as far as committing early. And I know we've made some strides, really kind of pushing the recruiting backs. And I think we're starting to see, how much talent's kind of being spread across, and there is parity across all sports. If you take a step back and understand the game of baseball, it's not so much playing against your opponent. You're playing against the baseball. You're trying to play against the baseball better than your opponent. And I think it really puts you in a position that anybody can beat anybody on any given day. And that's what's so special and great about our sport compared to football, compared to basketball, compared to soccer, is any day anybody can beat anybody. And so the changes that we're seeing, I feel like, if you look at from the equipment standpoint, the baseball had a little more juice this year. The bats were kind of a little better, and I feel like we've gotten in a good place.
Now, I just kind of tagging along on that. You see, minor league baseball is experimenting with the auto umpire, the technology strike zone. Do you foresee any of that ever filtering its way down into the college game?
I think it's going to take a significant amount of time, just because the money with it. The pitch clocks really tried to work in. It took about 10 years really to kind of get everybody to spend $6,000 or $7,000 on the pitch clocks, and now we're kind of seeing it implemented. And the pitch clock for me, I really don't like it as much. In the mid play or anything like that. And it's just kind of become, an annoying part of our game. But if those numbers are showing that the minutes of the games are shorter, I'm okay with it. But I don't think we'll ever see the robo umpire because it's just the overall expense that it's going to take across the board. And, am I for it? I want to say yes on some days, and I want to say no on other days. So it's just one of those things if it helps us or not. But I like the human element of it all, and I know we have a lot of hardworking umpires in our game that I have a significant amount of respect for, and so it still needs to be a part of our game, I would say.
Okay, and now I get this question every single week, and parents really want me to get college coaches to kind of share their thoughts on this. Why is it that college baseball utilizes aluminum bats during the season, but in the summer they go to wood bats? Is there ever going to be a day or time or a period where wood bats make their way into the college game? And if not, what would be the reason?
Yeah, I don't see wood ever becoming a part of the college game unless Major League Baseball, we're seeing a lot of changes with Major League Baseball with their draft going down to 20 rounds. You're seeing half the minor leagues kind of being decimated. And, with direction of maybe scholarships and things like that, we might see us as more of a breeding ground for the minors. That's the only way is if I see Major League Baseball really connecting with the NCAA from an expense standpoint, because I believe wooden bats are going to be extremely expensive over the course of a fiscal year. And aluminum is what makes our game so darn exciting. If you look
Right.
at just, the off out to a baseball game and to be able to see what aluminum can do, especially with the strength in our sport right now, is so darn fun. What I do know is that I'll go down, on a recruiting trail, and I'll go to a weekend watching aluminum when I'm sitting there trying to recruit prospective student athletes. They're swinging aluminum, and then the next weekend I go down to Atlanta and I see them swing a wooden bat. It's a drastically different game. It is. And for me, I'm an offensive guy. I want to score runs. I want to, give the fans a really good show. And I feel like aluminum is a great part of the college baseball game. It always has been through the Gorilla Ball days in the early 90s and Rosenblatt to right now. And so for me, I don't think that change is going to come unless Major League Baseball really steps up and tries to support NCAA and the direction of wooden bats.
Here's a question that's just comes to me, and I was discussing this morning with a couple of coaches. All season long during the weekends within conference play, college teams are doing that 2 out of 3. They're playing that 3-game series. But then when we go to the regional, we end up coming out of it with 4 teams in pool play, and then we go back to it in super regional. As far as the 3-game series, do you foresee at any point an addition to maybe 72 teams where 36 teams would be ranked as hosts and you would play the best 2 out of 3 and those teams would then meet in the super regional? Is that something that you think we could see happen within college baseball?
I don't. I think the college baseball tournament is set up perfectly with just how, the 64 teams that really, if you see, we funnel into the College World Series with the best 8 teams that are still alive. However, what I would love to see, and I think would be very unique in the college baseball game, is something that coaches have been trying to do for a couple decades now, is to have an NIT type of tournament set up
Yes.
afterwards as well. I think there's so many qualified teams that need to continue and deserve to keep playing, postseason baseball. And I think an NIT would be a great setup. There's expense involved, no doubt about it. But it's something that I think college coaches have tried and kind of failed with it. Just the NCAA tournament, the way it is, I don't believe it's fair to sit here and have, play-in games or anything like that. Yes, I think there can be some things revamped with the RPI and how the selection committee kind of chooses different things. I'm not too versed on all of that. What I do know is that we put out a quality tournament year in, year out that represents college baseball on a big scale, and the viewers and the ratings really show it. It does. I know mid-majors get squeezed here or there, but there's also some really good Power 5 teams that are in the middle of the pack that miss out on the tournament that can make the runs like we did this year. So it's a great tournament. I think it's run extremely well. I love the double elimination kind of regional aspect. Experiencing it this year was really fun to kind of navigate. We put ourselves in a position where, a team had to come back and beat us twice. And I knew with our offense, we earned that opportunity to, be in a regional championship game, handling a loss and coming back, knowing the position that we were in. And then it sets up for a best of three super regional that you have to go and earn a weekend. And so I think the overall tournament's really well set up.
So you had just alluded to, when you go out and you're looking at the various tournaments, whether they're in Georgia or Florida, I would love for you to share as a staff, how would you prefer, how do you prefer student athletes to reach out and maybe get into your recruiting schedule? Is it through email? Is it social media, direct messages? Is there video involved, transcripts, etc.? How would you prefer student athletes contact and reach you and your staff?
That's a great question. The simpler it is, the better. I think that is the key. Whenever we get hundreds of emails a day, and I'm not saying that in an arrogant talk down kind of way. It's awesome that we receive these emails and that people are interested in our program and university. So it's humbling whenever you receive all these emails. The recruiting coordinator and the pitching coach, if they're both too different, those are who you need to target as far as getting on their radar and showcasing them. A lot of head coaches is tough. They don't really dive into the recruiting at the beginning at that point. And then also, so email is outstanding. Reaching out, making sure you have short videos to showcase your overall talent, and the videos need to be where you can see them as well. I think that is so crucial. Whenever I'll sit there and click on a video and we're from the stands and I really can't zero in and see anything, it's very, very challenging. But then also, at the mid-major level, we've really taken some great strides over the past 5 or 6 years from a technology standpoint and data collecting and what we do from TrackMan data, how we use Baseball Cloud, really using all the analytics to break down what an athlete does with the baseball, I think is really crucial. So whatever data that you might have to be able to showcase through video or just overall numbers, to be able to showcase that is enormous. But then most importantly, go to their prospect camps. I think that is so key. Target your 3 to 5 schools, and it might be different levels. And that's something that you need to communicate with your travel ball coach, your high school coach, or somebody that really understands the college baseball recruiting landscape, and find the right fit for you. Get yourself 3 or 5, 6 different schools and try to attend their prospect camp in person. It's so intimate. And how we run it here, we like small numbers. We don't sit here and try to do a big money grab of having 100 to 200, and they're just pretty much buying an Aces baseball t-shirt. No, we like to have that roster between 30 and 50 on our camp where all of our coaches can kind of get a feel for their personalities, see how they interact, and then be able to have a lot of reps in a prospect showcase or a prospect camp, so to speak. So those would be my recommendations. Is go. It'll also give you an opportunity to kind of see their facilities, see the university with your parents, walk around, and then you can kind of get on a radar. It also shows me that you're extremely interested as well.
So first and foremost, congratulations on a tremendous season. I, for one, was definitely following you out of the regional and obviously into your super regional. But as always, Evansville, one of the most consistent quality baseball programs in the country year after year, and that's a testament to you and your staff and your recruiting efforts. So congratulations on a great year, but thank you so much for taking the time. I know this is a busy time of year, but I really feel it's a great opportunity for you to be able to put Evansville out and allow parents and student athletes to be able to see the passion, because I can see it when you're coaching, but obviously the takeaway today is that you are one of the most passionate coaches about your program, and it shows, and it's definitely part of what makes your program so great. So thank you so much for taking the time to share with us today.
Thank you. I really appreciate you having me on. And this did not happen overnight. We've been working and creating this momentum for many years with the upgrades that we've had in all of our facilities. Our indoor facility, German American Bank, is the most beautiful turf field that you'll see. And then, Kyle Freeland really stepping up, and we're getting ready to build the Freeland Clubhouse. We feel like we have all the pieces in place to compete at the top half of this conference year in, year out. And we're embarking on special times here for Aces Baseball. And once again, thank you for everything you do for college baseball. It's truly very informative, and just the time and energy that you put into it. I'm just really honored that you had me on today to share a little bit about Aces Baseball. So thank you so much.
Well, I trust me, Kyle Freeland, a good family friend of my youngest son, Tyler. And it just speaks volumes when an alum of that caliber reaches back and gives back to the program that helped build him as a man, not just as a baseball player. And that's clearly evident when you talk to Kyle Freeland and you talk about Evansville. And I saw it on social media. I mean, that is one passionate alum that follows each and every weekend series that Evansville participates in. But Wes, thank you so much. And parents, I want you to genuinely understand that these are the caliber of coaches that turn your son into a man. The focus is obviously there's a baseball program, but Evansville is developing men, right? That will eventually become great parents, great husbands, parts of a community, as well as the business sector. So these are the opportunities for you to be able to see and engage with a coach that may or may not be able to spend 4 or 5 years with your son as a student athlete. Wes, best of luck going future. If I can ever help in any capacity, please let me know.
Thank you so much, and go Aces.